Ordinarily, if you're looking at buying a Honda Civic, we'd steer you towards the excellent 1.6 litre diesel. However, recent noises by the Mayor of London seem to suggest that drivers of economical diesel cars may face an additional charge to enter the city, and that's got people thinking about a shift back towards petrol. The success of Honda's diesel engines has led many people to forget that the Civic is also available with a choice of two petrol VTEC units, the 1.4 with 99 horsepower and this, the 1.8 with 140. The Civic range was treated to a bit of an update early in the year, most notably with the arrival of black trim on the front bumper and again on the tailgate beneath the spoiler and integrated high-level stoplight. A series of electronic driver aids were also made available, and these use a set of cameras and sensors mounted in the windscreen to provide functions such as traffic sign recognition, collision warning and braking, and blind spot information that also illuminates a warning in the door mirrors. There were a few tweaks to the interior too, although these were largely just small details, and that's just as well because the Civic's interior is already well laid out, although we will say that the models with the optional sunroof can cut into headroom for tall drivers. The dash itself retains its driver-oriented layout with a design that wraps around the driver into the doors and switchgear that's well positioned and has a quality feel. The instruments are deeply cowled and very easy to read with a large central rev counter, while the speedo and trip computer are housed in a separate binnacle above this, the idea being that it's easy to read at a glance without taking your eyes off the road. Our SR test car features Honda's premium audio navigation system, which features pan-European mapping and full UK postcodes, plus DAB digital radio and a built-in hard drive to store your music. It sounds pretty good too, and there's a subwoofer mounted in the boot. Backseat passengers should have little to complain about with a respectable amount of space, but it's Honda's magic seats that the Civic has become famous for. These allow the seat bases to flip up so you can carry tall loads in the cabin, but they also fold flat in one convenient movement to form an almost completely flat load floor. In the boot there's 401 litres of space with the seats in place, plus an additional 76 litres in a handy underfloor compartment. The load sill is perhaps a little higher than we'd like, and models with a subwoofer lose around 10 litres of space, but fold the seats forward and total capacity rises to 1,378 litres. Right, well that's enough of the practicalities, time to look under the bonnet. The 1.8 litre i-VTEC unit produces 140 horsepower and 174 Nm of torque. With the exception of the forthcoming Type R, that makes the 1.8 the fastest Civic in the range, with a 0 to 62 time of 9.1 seconds and a top whack of 134 miles an hour. CO2 emissions of 145 grams per kilometre place it in band F, while the official combined cycle figure of 46.3 mpg isn't far off the mark, as we averaged around 44 mpg during our testing. On the road it's very quiet, in fact at idle it's difficult to hear the engine at all, and once you're up to speed it's likely that road noise is what you'll hear over the engine anyway. As we'd expect from Honda, the 6-speed manual gearbox has a fabulous shift action through its stubby lever, and although the petrol engine is happy to lollop along at low revs in high gears, given the slick shift action it's no hardship to downshift to get the best out of it. It gets a bit more raucous when you do, but it's more of a hard-edged VTEC sound than anything coarse or thrashy. For drivability, the diesel beats it, thanks to its far greater torque reserves, but the 1.8 has sufficient balls to make pretty decent progress on your favourite back roads. On most surface, the Civic's ride is well composed, and it continues to turn in well, but despite the recent update to its suspension settings, there is still a slightly unsettled feeling that comes across on poorly surfaced dual carriageways. A quick word too about those electronic driver aids. No doubt there are occasions where they could save your bacon, but we found the blind spot monitoring system to be a little paranoid, issuing warnings when joining motorways from a slip road and changing lanes in traffic. The collision mitigation system also threw up a few warnings at strange situations, like here approaching this bridge, and if you weren't already applying the brakes, it's likely the car would have done so automatically, potentially creating a very difficult situation. Thankfully, these systems are currently optional extras, so you can have your Civic without them. Those issues aside, the Civic continues to be, in our opinion, the most practical hatchback on the market, and if the day comes that we all need to move away from our beloved diesels, it's good to know that the masters of the VTEC system have got us covered.